In the Terminator films, the T-800s were really good problem solvers, if a little violent. But how good are today's computers? Well, to help shed a little light on that, we're talking to mathematician Charles Semple. G'day, Charles. How are you?
G'day, John.
Yeah, now look, how good would today's computers be at, finding Sarah Connor, basically?
Sarah who? Probably, I don't know, probably not too bad. She had a little location beacon on her. I'm
Yep.
sure no trouble at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not really what they're made for. What are today's computers best at doing in terms of problem solving?
So they're really good at doing routine computations. So just something that you could do on a piece of paper, but you have to do it over and over again.
Yep.
But computers can do it over and over again really fast.
Okay.
And so they're really good at doing that sort of thing.
Good time savers, like the
Yeah.
washing machine or something. You don't have to do it, they can do it quicker. And
They can do it
carry on.
automatically, and
Right.
they can do it overnight if you like, and no trouble at all.
So what are they not so good at?
Well, so what happens is you get a lot of problems whereby the routine computations are so many that it just takes too long for the computer to come out with an answer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So do you have to tweak the computers? How do you get around that?
Well, sometimes you can and sometimes you can't. So here's a couple of problems. That one's good for a computer and one appears not to be so good. And so suppose you take your favourite map, and you're a postman Pat, and you're off to deliver the mail, all right? And you want to do it from starting at the post office, and you want to go down each street exactly once, deliver the mail, and do every street in your area, and get back to the post office without doubling up. You want to save time, so you don't want to go down the same street twice, but you've got to go down each street once, all right? Well, you can find a solution for that. You can see whether that your village map that you've got can actually get back, do that solution and get back to where you are. And it's very quick to find such a solution, okay? But on the other hand, in the afternoon, after delivering the morning mail, Postman Pat's got to go around and collect the post. And on every intersection is a post box. So he's around in his van, he's going to pick up the mail, all right? And he's got to go to, and every intersection has a post box. So starting at the post office, he wants to go to every intersection exactly once and get back to where he started from. All right? Can you do it with the map you've got, or the street map that he has to follow? All right? So the first one is he's got to go down every street exactly once and get back to the post office. The second problem is he's got to go to every intersection exactly once. He won't repeat streets because you're only going to the intersection once. You don't have to worry about streets, just the intersections. The first problem, you can decide easily whether you can do that or not. And what you have to do, you look at each intersection and see if there's an even number of streets coming into it. It's just as simple as that. Go to an intersection, there's an even number of streets. Oh, it's an intersection of 4, that's okay. Go to another street, and you've got to do it for each intersection. You've got to do each one. All right? What about the other problem? All right? No one knows an answer for that one quickly. All you can do is trial and error.
Aha.
All right?
So that's when the mathematician has to get involved. So the computer can do the first one quite easily.
The computer can do the first one really easy. You just check each intersection. How many intersections you've got? 10. Well, the computer can do that really quick. All right? What about the other problem? Well, basically the best known answer, essentially, it's not quite true, but essentially the best known answer is to start at the post office and try all possibilities. All right? Now, if there's, as well as the post office, you've got 4 other intersections. All right, you've got choices, 5 factorial choices, which means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. What a computer could do, think how a computer's going to work. Of course, you can see the answer, but a computer can't see the answer. You've got to program the computer to do something. And so what could you do? You say, well, okay, let's label the intersections A, B, C, and D, as well as the post office. All right, so what can you do? You start at the post office, you can go to A, then B, then C, then D, and back to the post office. Is that a possibility? All right, meaning there'd be a street in between each intersection. No. Okay, what's another possibility? Well, you could, instead of doing A first, you could have done B first. So let's go post office B, A, C, D, and back to the post office. All right. Well, check that. The computer can check that quite fine. No, that's not a possibility either. All right. And what could happen is either you find a possibility, and the answer is yes, we're done. Postman Pat can go around and collect the mail in the afternoon without having to double back on things, or you've got to go run through all the possibilities and get back to the end and say, no, there is no possibility. Postman Pat can't do it. All right? So how many choices are there? Well, if you have to run through all the possibilities, you start off the first one, all right? You've got the post office, and then you've got 4 choices for the next one, 3 choices for the next one, 2 choices for the next one, and 1 choice for the last. possibility. If you work that out, a computer doing 1 million checks per second can do that just like that, in a fraction of a second. All right? Well, that's all right. That's no problem for the computer. What about if there's 10 intersections to worry about?
Oh my God.
Okay, so same idea. It's like a 10 factorial. 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 3 times 2 times 1 choices. Well, if you do that, I think it's about a few seconds. The computer can do it in a few seconds. If they can do a million of these checks a second, all right? So that's pretty good. But what if there's 15? Now 15 is not that big, and you can have a guess how long that's going to take?
Quite a long time.
Yeah, about 15 days.
15, yeah.
15 days it's going to take for the computer to do 1 million checks per second, running 24 hours a day. Well, 15 is not that large, all right? Just think of your favourite city. 15 intersections is not a big number, all right? So what about 20? Well, I'm going to be dead before the computer comes up with an answer. If the computer has to go through every possibility and come up with the answer no, then it's going to take over 700 centuries. All right, so just from 15 to 20,
Yeah.
it suddenly just spirals out of control.
Exponential nightmare.
Exponential nightmare, and it doesn't matter how fast your computer is. You can say, oh, in 2 years' time, I'll have double the processing speed. I can do 2 million checks per second. That's going to have a little dent on the problem. All right. And you may say, well, yeah, but who cares about Postman Pat?
Yes.
You know, is that
Postman
real?
Pat, the postinator. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that really matter? And the answer is yes, because there's a lot of real-world problems where this phenomenon arises, where it seems that the best answer is just trial and error. And there's lots of problems like this. Another one's a timetabling problem. So every school has to face this problem, or university. You timetable exams at the end of the year, but you don't want students to clash. So you don't want students to be at the same time sitting 2 different exams. So you don't want any clashes, but hey, you don't want to spread out the exams over 2 months. It's got to be in a short time frame. Well, that problem turns out to be a computationally difficult problem, just like the Postman Pat problem with picking up the mail. Same ideas work, and there just seems to be no solution better than trial and error.
So, and what branch of maths does this sort of study relate to?
So this is an area of what's called complexity theory, and it's about dealing with algorithms. So in some sense, you want a method, you want a methodical way of doing the process. So if I can just input the data into a computer, you turn the handle a few times on the computer, and out pops your answer, all right? But sometimes you've got to turn your handle, you've got to keep turning this handle phenomenally long time, all right? And an answer still doesn't pop out, but you just keep turning this handle. And these problems arise in all sorts of areas. In one area in particular, something like computational biology, where evolutionary biologists are interested in reconstructing trees, evolutionary trees. And these sort of problems arise all the time.
And why do they want to reconstruct the evolutionary trees?
Well, that's another story, but just out of intrinsic interest, how do things evolve, okay? But also things like people in California, Walter Fitch in his lab, try to predict the next influenza virus, which is the one that's going to, mutate itself around the world and cause difficulties. And if they can have a history of how these viruses evolve, they can second guess what the next one will be and try and make a medication before it happens.
Okay, so this computational work it gets involved in healthcare.
It gets involved in healthcare and all sorts of things. Language evolution of languages, all right? And sort of basic problems some of them look at where it's computational difficulty is things like sometimes biologists will construct lots of little trees and they want to combine them into a single tree, all right? And you might say, well, are the little trees consistent? Is there one big tree that explains all the little trees? And that turns out to be a computationally difficult problem. You could trial all possibilities, but that's going to take way too long, and currently there's no method for doing it. And so here's a natural problem again in evolutionary biology, but it's one of these problems like Postman Pat picking up the mail, the timetabling problems.
Yes.
These problems just keep arising.
Finding Sarah Connor.
Finding Sarah Connor, maybe she's got no beacon. What are you going to do? Try every possible city?
Exactly.
Good luck.
Go through the phone book.
And it just gets too long, all the possibilities. So those sort of things arise, and they are difficult. But here's a little curious thing. There's a strange thing. There's lots of these problems, and they're huge, and they got bigger and bigger in the last since computers have had a major impact in the world. They've just got bigger and bigger. These problems arise. But the curious thing about all of this, from a mathematical point of view, if you can find a solution that's not trial and error to any one of those problems, and there's thousands of these problems, any one of those problems, you can find a solution that's not trial and error for all of the problems. Any one of them. So these basket of problems are as hard as each other. Right?
And if you find one formula or solution to that, then boom, that's the right application.
You've got a polynomial time solution or a fast solution for all of the problems in this basket. And not only will you become, well, that's quite great, but you get $1 million. There's a prize for it at the moment.
Oh, really?
If you can do that, you get $1 million prize.
So you're looking at the Charles Semple solution?
Yeah, but I don't pay the $1 million.
Oh, you don't? You get it?
I get it. Yeah, so if anyone comes up with a solution, just come and tell me. I'll give you the chocolate fish and pat you on the back and say, "Oh, well done, John. Great, you've done really good." And then I'll go and collect my money.
Well, there you go. You see, in mathematics, you can make a lot of money. Well, thanks very much for talking to us today, Charles. Really appreciate it.
No problem, John.